The Dallas Cowboys are currently sitting at 6-2 with the second best record in the NFC. They are in the playoff hunt at the halfway point in the NFL season. But the thing that will keep Dallas from being a legitimate Super Bowl contender is their loyalty to Zeke Elliott. The purpose of this video isn't to crap on Zeke Elliott because he still has value to an NFL team. But the overall goal is to show you how explosive Tony Pollard is and how he can make this Cowboys offense take the next step if he's simply more involved in the offense. We all know Zeke was a dynamic runner and pass-catching weapon early in his career. And while I do not believe he's totally washed, at this point of his NFL life, after 2,100 career touches, Elliott is no longer what he once was and would be better suited for a role as the quote-unquote power back in a productive NFL offense. This play does a great job of showing the difference between Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. Here, Zeke gets the handoff up the middle. If he had enough burst to get through the hole and just make one tackler miss, he should break a 50-yard touchdown. But Zeke doesn't have the acceleration to get through that hole, burst away, and break a long one. But Tony Pollard does. This is one of Tony Pollard's first carries of the game against the Rams. He gets the handoff, and the one thing that he does differently than Zeke Elliott is he can burst through the hole and break an arm tackle, which allows him to keep his balance and break 2 more tackles. If it's even 2, it might be 3 more tackles and break a long touchdown run. Look, gets through the line of scrimmage, breaks another one, breaks another tackle, cuts back against the grain, and scores a long touchdown. Breaks one more tackle. Zeke Elliott doesn't have the burst, the acceleration, and the long speed to break this run, but Tony Pollard does. One of the things that makes Tony Pollard such a dynamic back is the fact that he can do what I like to call a jump stop into a jump cut without losing momentum and can get the edge on a defense, where Zeke Elliott doesn't quite have it anymore. He can do the 2-footed jump stop, but the acceleration off the jump cut just isn't even close to what Tony Pollard can do. This play perfectly encapsulates what I'm talking about with Zeke Elliott. Here he gets the handoff up the middle and he sees a lane he wants to cut back into. But what happens? He tries to make the cut, but he doesn't do the jump stop that I talked about with Tony Pollard. He doesn't even stick his foot in the ground. He leans a direction, and he's kind of like a Hummer, you know? He's too top heavy, he leans a direction, and eventually his weight pulls him in that direction. He doesn't make a nice cut or anything. And he has so much, I would say, momentum where he's not balanced. And he gets into the hole, and he gets brought down easily. A defender goes low and basically just chops him down. Where Tony Pollard, if he gets in the hole, at least has a chance to bounce that outside one more time, or gets in the hole and could try to make a defender miss. Where Zeke is just running full speed with as much power as he can, and he just gets his legs cut from underneath him. Now let's see what Tony Pollard could do in a pretty similar situation. Here, Pollard's going to see the hole, and he's going to stick his foot in the ground, and he's going to hit it hard with acceleration and burst. And when he gets to the second level, it might look like a pretty easy touchdown where he just jumps over the pile, but look what he does to number 4, the safety here. So number 4, Eddie Jackson, is going to come up and try to make this tackle in the wide open hole that's obvious Tony Pollard should go through, right? Wrong. Pollard has enough quickness to stick his foot in the ground one more time at that second level, cut right, and jump into the end zone. Zeke Elliott, he is not making this play. Now, let me just show you some big plays from Tony Pollard, because that's what he does. Here, he's going to get the handoff, and once again, he does the 2-footed jump stop, gets to the second level, and makes Eddie Jackson look foolish. Fools Eddie Jackson, gives him the nicest dead leg I've seen in a long time, and makes Eddie Jackson completely whiff on the tackle and burst for a touchdown. Here's a play that actually isn't that crazy or spectacular from Tony Pollard, but he has the one thing that Zeke Elliott doesn't, and that's acceleration and can get through the hole quickly. Zeke just doesn't have that ability anymore. So when he gets this pitch and he gets through the hole, right here, does Zeke Elliott get through that hole without being arm tackled or brought down? And does he get past this safety to score a touchdown? Pollard does get knocked down at the 1-inch line, but does Zeke even make it past the 10? Here, once again, Tony Pollard doesn't do anything super crazy in the backfield with a bunch of jump cuts and moves. He just hits the hole really hard with burst, and when he does that, it makes all the defenders take horrible pursuit angles, which allows Pollard to get deep into the secondary and break off a big run. I just don't think Zeke enough speed and acceleration at this point in his career to make defenders take bad pursuit angles. Zeke just doesn't have the juice. And this play is the cherry on top. This is the peak of Tony Pollard's powers. Here, he gets the handoff, and it looks like nothing's happening in the backfield, but he sticks his foot in the ground and bounces it outside, makes a defender miss, breaks an arm tackle and gets to that little hole, and hits the edge, and puts on the burners, and scores a long touchdown. When you watch this play from behind the line of scrimmage, is there any chance that Zeke Elliott makes this jump cut and accelerates to the outside without getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage? I just think there's no way that Zeke Elliott makes anything out of this play, but Tony Pollard can. I'm not calling for an outright benching of Ezekiel Elliott. I believe that you shouldn't run your RB into the ground, and splitting the workload is actually a good thing. But let's give Pollard a bigger piece of the touch pie. On the season, Zeke is out-carrying Pollard 109 to 81, and Zeke has played one less game than Pollard. Yet, Pollard has more rushing yards on 30 to 40 less carries. It's time to let Pollard become a bigger part of the offense, while Zeke can handle the short yardage and between the tackles runs that require a power back. It's okay to accept the facts. Zeke is now on the level of Jamal Williams and James Robinson, power backs with little wiggle from time to time who can catch the ball in the backfield. And that's okay. Those are valuable pieces to an NFL roster. Zeke's no longer the player he was before, but that shouldn't stop Tony Pollard from being the star of this offense and leading the Cowboys on a playoff charge after their Week 9 bye. Tony Pollard is the future of the Dallas Cowboys.